That was lovely. Thank you so much for opening our hearts. Welcome to this moment of peace. I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let your body settle into the chair where you're sitting. Feel your body getting comfortable and relaxed as we continue to breathe in through the nose and breathe out. As you feel the breath filling your lungs, and then you exhale out of your mouth, you're letting go of tension anywhere in your body. So feel yourself more relaxed with every breath, breathing in and breathing out. We're just focusing on that breath, that beautiful breath of God that breathes us in and out. With every inhale, we draw in calmness and serenity, and with every exhale, whatever no longer serves just melts away. Each breath in, we are calmer, and each breath out, we are relaxed. We feel our shoulders falling down from our earlobes. As we quiet our minds, perhaps we picture those thoughts that are coming in like a cloud, traveling across the sky. They come and they go, and we give them no attention whatsoever. They just come and they pass by. And what remains is a beautiful, clear sky. The sun is shining. We feel the warmth on our face. Breathing in, peace. Breathing out, all that no longer serves. Allow your mind to settle like it's on the top of a pond. You know, when a pond is so still, and maybe some of those thoughts are like little ripples, but they soon dissolve as you become peace with each breath. Breathing in and breathing out into that relaxed state, seeing that peaceful, calm pond. How beautiful it is as the sun shines on your face, and those transient thoughts are just passing through like clouds. You become that peace. That peace that you know is the essence of your being, the peace that you came here to be. That calm soul that you are. Now I invite you to feel that presence of that inner calm as we rest in a moment of silence and feel and embrace that peace. This peace is the truth of us, and we know that we can go to this place, we can visit this place anytime we choose. So especially in those times when you feel a little stressed or anxious or worried about anything, remind yourself that you are made of God's stuff. You are the divine in expression, and this is one of your faculties. You are filled with strength, filled with this power of release so that you can let go and allow that peace to emanate from your soul, so that as you come into that place of being, everyone that you enter into their experience, they feel that they want what you have. They want that inner peace and calm that you know is your divine birthright. And so we claim that now. We claim that knowing. This is our time to remember how precious and special we are, and that we can visit this anytime. So take another deep breath in and let it go. Savor that calm that you are. Letting go of any remaining tension that you may feel in your body as you remain in this peaceful state. We're so grateful for this knowledge that we have this opportunity to visit this place within us that is as close as every breath we take. And so whenever you're ready to bring your attention back into the room, I invite you to wiggle your toes and your fingers. And whenever you're ready, just open your beautiful eyes. There's the question. Hopefully you're a little bit more now there than you were maybe 5 minutes ago or so. I'm in that place now because I've had a long vacation. I got to do all those things that feed and nurture my soul. I was telling someone in the community room a while ago, I read 7 fiction books while I was gone. That's like a world's record for me. 7 fiction books. I went to the beach. I went to Texas. We had a great birthday, 100th birthday. Thank you for all the lovely cards. Miss Casey had a card campaign going here, and my aunt was just blown away when I handed her that stack of birthday cards. I got to spend time with cousins I haven't seen in 20 years, not since her 80th birthday, by the way. So that was very sweet, and I got to reconnect with friends and family and people at my previous ministry in Texas. I got to visit people and have long lunches and just lots of wonderful things. Took my kids on a trip. So I am there today, but if you ask me, do I live there? I would have to say, no, not 100%. Not 100% of the time. Because while I was away, I was having a legal challenge with a contractor that did house repairs. So I had to go see an attorney. And so there was a point at which I was using my spiritual practices like crazy. I mean, I was using every spiritual tool in my toolbox to get myself more centered. And so that's kind of how we are, you know. We're in and out. We're hardly ever, if we were in it all the time, we'd be Jesus. But we're just not there, you know. So we practice. We have spiritual practices. So when things come up in our lives that are like Ew, what is this? What did I do to deserve this, you know? How did I create that? I didn't want to create that. Then we have these spiritual tools in our toolbox. And so, you know, sometimes relative reality gets in our face a little bit, and we don't really like what's going on, right? And so we have resistance sometimes, or we avoid and hope it'll just go away, you know, and then it doesn't, and then it comes back maybe in a different way. So it's really better to face those things and move through them. And so that's why I love our theme for this month, which is let go and let God. So let's say our affirmation together. I let go and let God guide me to my good. So you see, we're not alone. We don't have to do it on our own. We are God-guided, God-directed, God-inspired beings. And so this affirmation is about release. When we let go and we let God, we allow Spirit to work in our lives to help us make decisions, to help us walk through the tough stuff so that we can stay with peace of mind no matter what shows up. So this release faculty is one of our 12 innate faculties that Charles Fillmore discerned when he did the 12 powers. And so this reminds me that we can only make room for the good as we release that which no longer serves us. So we can be more in peace when we're not focusing on that which we don't want. And so it's wonderful to be in that place of peace. That's my goal. I don't know about you, but that's my goal every day. So I don't want anything to take my peace away. So I work at my spiritual practices, and I use all of these teachings because I want to be freed from the limited past and the limited ideas that I have about what I can or can't do. So it's important to let go of what no longer serves, because when we do that, then we start building trust. When we let go and we let God and we allow Spirit to guide our way, then we build trust because we know what? God is all there is. And so it's always going to work out for the highest and best. It's just sometimes we can't see that right in the midst of us. We're in the middle of something, right? So Wednesday I was back at book study, and we're doing The Eye of the Storm for teens, which is about dealing with conflict. It's finding peace in the midst of conflict. That book has been so perfect for me. For this time that I was away, I was reading along with everybody else. There are some simple practices in that book that can help us let go and let Spirit be our guide. And Dr. Jane Simmons, who wrote that book, says, when we're not feeling connected, God-directed, we tend to get defensive. And we try to cope with conflict by feeling the need to either control, resist, or avoid. Isn't that true? Those are kind of our coping mechanisms. She tells a story about a captain who's sailing on this battleship. And they're sailing along, and he sees a blip on the radar screen, and it's right in the direct path. And so he signals, turn 10 degrees north. And he gets this answer, you turn 10 degrees south. And he's like, no, you need to turn 10 degrees north. I am a captain. And so the response is, I'm a seaman first class. You need to turn 10 degrees south. And he's like, the audacity of this young person, right? How dare him? He said, I am a battleship. You turn 10 degrees north. And he said, I am a lighthouse. You turn 10 degrees south. Have you ever tried to move a lighthouse? You know how to pick your fights, right? You know, when you're trying so hard to force something, to make something happen, you're using your personal will. You think this is what God's got in store for you, and you're trying to make it happen, and all you're finding is resistance, 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 because this is what you wanted. Well, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? Do you want to be in peace, or do you want to be in conflict? Every single moment, we have that choice. We have that choice. We can't force anybody to change. It's just not the way it works. We overcome obstacles by not resisting them, but by the power of Spirit in us to know the difference that we can choose. We can choose to change our perspective on anything that's going on in our lives. You know this. Many of you understand this. And so we have the power to do that. So pretty simply, you have a name, but you're not your name. You have a body, but you're not your physical body. You have a story of who you are and how you show up, but you are not your story, you see. It's all sort of a made-up thing that we create as we create our lives. You are simply the center of God consciousness. You are a spark of the divine. You are an emanation of the one mind. Do you feel the power in that? You're not a victim. You're not a weakling. You have amazing power and strength within you. You have all the qualities of God as the divine being that you are. So you already have attained. You don't have to look for it anywhere. You already have love and peace and strength and release and all of the 12 powers in you. You don't have to seek it. You just have to get in alignment with it, right? You have to remember who you are. That's really what this is all about. It's not seeking it someplace. It's not having to go to an ashram someplace and sit in meditation for an hour a day. That's not necessarily it. You be it. You be the peace. You be the love that you came here to be. So I've been reading Martha Smock's Turning Points. And in her book, Turning Points, she says, peace of mind is not something you achieve when everything is perfect, when things have been worked out happily. Peace of mind is something that oftentimes precedes solving the problem. So there again, we're looking for peace. We're looking for peace. Peace is waiting for us to be it. And then the problem is solved. From a peaceful heart, from a peaceful mind, from knowing who you are and what you came here to be, from that place, you can solve anything. But you have to be that. You have to know, you have to claim who you are. She goes on to say, just as the eye of the hurricane, we know much about this, there is stillness in the eye of the hurricane, right? There is always that within us. No matter what is swirling around in the exterior, in the relative world that we're looking at and seeing on TV and all that really doesn't matter. What matters is, are you the stillness? So in the midst of confusion and distress, Dr. Jane says, there is an inner place of stillness. You know this. It's the secret place of the Most High of you. That's what that is. So you become that. You become that, and you center in that peace of God that you are, and then life just flows for you so much more easily than when you're resisting and avoiding conflict in your life. Every single thing that comes up is a lesson that you came here to learn. You wanted it, you asked for it, you got it, and now you're resisting it and avoiding it? No, I don't think so. Got to move through it. Find your place of peace. See it from your God consciousness, not from your humanness. See it and know that it's something that you're learning. If you think about it, all things are created from the silence, from the peace. All things are created from the silence. So when you turn within in prayer and meditation, in that silence, you are filled with infinite peace. You are filled with that. And that, my friends, becomes the gateway to a new and greater expression of the powers and the abilities that you have as the divine being that you are. And that's when you're open and receptive, when you get still and quiet enough to hear Spirit. When you turn off the devices and the TV and all of the things that are distractions, and you just sit. So, you know, we've been using the Daily Word, 100 years of Daily Word, because this is the 100th anniversary of Daily Word. And so I found this in here from August 29th, 1946. And I have to tell you, that was when my parents started dating. So I wasn't even a twinkle in my daddy's eye yet. August 29th, 1946. It says, "The very Spirit of God possesses my mind and heart, and I'm filled with peace and power." When you let go of personal concern and striving and let the Spirit of God possess your mind and heart, your whole being is flooded with the consciousness of peace and power. Problems, however large or small, drop away from you as you let His Spirit work in and through you. Whenever you feel you need more wisdom, love, courage, or strength, become quiet and know that He is in possession of every thought. If doubt or fear try to take possession, hold to the realization that God is the only presence and the power in your life. You can never be unsure of your way when God's intelligence possesses your mind. You can never be unloving or inharmonious in your relations with others when God's love possesses your heart. You can never be weak or afraid when the consciousness of God's power and might fills every part of your being. As you let go and let God, you will be able to meet every experience with poise and confidence. Don't you want that? Nobody wants that. Sure you do. You want poise and confidence. And the scripture from that day, August 29th, 1946, is 1 Peter 5, verse 7. Cast all your anxiety upon Him. So, to me, metaphysically, that means I'm not doing this by myself. I have the presence and the power of God in me. I'm not alone in this journey, ever. I have all kinds of support around me all the time. Isn't it great to know that everything you need is already within you, ready to guide and protect you and guard you? This receptive and discerning power is what we call faith. It's your faith. You can't have any more of it than you already have and possess, because it's one of your 12 faculties. So if we want to grow in our faith, we use our spiritual practices. And when we're devoted to spiritual principles, we develop this greatness of mind and heart, because we remember who we are, how powerful we are. Because you see, the things we fear and the things we love both show us where our faith is the strongest. Both things, right? So pay attention to how letting go brings you peace of mind. You know, Jesus was our way shower and was a great example of peace. And you know, he had struggles too. Remember when Lazarus was dying and Martha had all these questions and Mary was bawling her eyes out and everybody was sad and crying? Well, Jesus wept with them. He felt the pain. Now, he knew that we're eternal beings and he knew that Lazarus was going to be fine, but he still was flesh and blood and felt the same things that we all feel. But yet he knew how to raise his consciousness above the physical and to know the truth, that God was in the midst of that also. No reason to fear. So there was an interview that I ran across. Jill Suddy in 2020, of course, we were going through the pandemic at that time. She interviewed this psychologist named Dr. Rick Hansen, and he wrote a book, Neurodharma, New Science, Ancient Wisdom, and 7 Practices for the Highest Happiness. And his book and his website, there's all these resources. I invite you to go visit Dr. Rick Hansen's website. He has practices that cultivate a calmer, healthier way of being in the world and responding to the ups and downs in life. And he illustrates neuroscience research that shows that these positive practices that we have in our life, these spiritual practices that we use, can change the chemicals in our brain. Now, we know this from Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a lot like Dr. Joe's work. He's saying that we can change our brain waves by using these practices and improving our state of mind for the future by doing these things. He says there are ways of being that we develop through practice and then through experiencing them and then turning those experiences into lasting changes in the brain. He says that this can lead to our rewiring of the brain so that we don't have a default into negativity, that we default into what we know to be what causes peace in our lives. That's the goal, always, I think. Our beloved Mary Kupferle, one of my favorite Unity authors, said, if you relax your body and you affirm quietly, I acknowledge that there is a presence and power beyond my understanding ready to work through me as I let go. I am willing to let go every struggle to attain a goal on my own. I know that although of myself I can do nothing, with God all things are possible. I am willing to let go and let God handle it all. Now, I know I'm a half-full glass kind of girl. I know I'm an eternal optimist. But I truly want more people to be like John Lennon's song, Imagine. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You say I'm a dreamer, but I know I'm not the only one. I know I have some friends out here that hold that same vision of a world in peace, because that's what we know is going to heal our planet. I choose to believe that we're all doing this spiritual work because we want to be grounded and centered in the knowingness of the God that is in charge of us, in us, as us, and through us to help us bring this about, because I know that we will eventually get to that place where there's a tipping point where we have raised the consciousness and there's more peace and love and less of what we have been witnessing on our planet. Okay, it's time for a joke. Enough preaching. So there was this book, and it sold 1 million copies in 2 days. Now, I've never heard about that before, but this is the funny thing about it. There was a typo in the title. One word, one letter, one alphabet was wrong. It was an idea that can change your wife. It was supposed to be life. One letter made all the difference. Think about those people that took that book and then didn't get what they thought they were going to get out of it. Ah. I'm going to close with Martha Smock's Turning Point. This is a really old book, but I just love this. Peace of mind is made up of many feelings, attitudes, actions, and reactions. When you seek the peace of mind, you are not seeking blankness, but God in action. Peace is not a stagnant pool to sit beside a flowing river, a river of life and energy of which you are a part. God bless you, dear friend, with perfect peace. The peace that comes from a disciplined mind, the peace that comes from a will to work, the peace that comes from a courageous approach to life, the peace that comes through knowledge and understanding, that peace comes through losing yourself in search of God. The peace that comes through finding your right relation to yourself, to other persons, to things, and to God. And that's the way it truly is today. Namaste, everyone. Thank you. Now is the time in our service when we get to give to this ministry from our good. And so we bless our gifts with this expression. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so.